Welcome to the Wealth Ninja podcast, and in studio we got the grandmaster, the godfather of all rugbies, Phil Kingsley Jones. Welcome to the show, and thank you for coming here.
Thank you, Don, for having me.
Wow, look, we've been knowing each other now for many years since Jonah was my neighbor in Manukau Heights. And then you now joined the company with us for the past 2 years now. How was your experience being with us for the past 2 years, working along my side and the team?
Fantastic, Don. And I never thought that it would be the field that I'd finish up in, really, working in the real estate business or the investment business.
Right.
Because it's not one of my strengths. And if I would have met you when me and Jonah was together and his health was good, we would have been the luckiest fellas in town, because what I've learned since being with you the last 18 months is that everybody I've brought to you, and I sit in on all their meetings, as you know, with you, their first meetings, I learned so much. And you can see these people, some of them, first of all, are a bit intimidated because they know who Don Ha is, and worried whether they got the money that they can buy or that they trust. And straight away you alleviate that trust. That's what I like about you. And they fall straight into your arms once you start talking and you're talking to the boys. And it's wonderful to see somebody like you being able to take these boys on.
You know, I was, when I see these big rugby players come in, and they so muscular, so tall, so powerful, and when you watch them play on the field, I don't think anyone of us would want to stand in front of them. But when it comes to numbers and finance, it's the opposite. Yeah,
they're babies.
Yes, that's like oh wow, what do I do? You know, and to be able to nurture these players. Usually a professional investor takes them like one meeting. These guys take 3 or 4 meetings before they get the numbers, get the comfort. After we meet them, then they said, "Can you go home and show my wife?" It's like, hello, I just been with you guys 4 times. Now he wants me to meet the wife, which is just out of courtesy, out of approval, I believe. And then once you got the trust, the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of things. The reason that they like that, first of all, is the plain and simple, they've never done it before.
Yes.
It's not like buying a car or a second-hand car.
Yeah.
They're buying $100,000 worth of property.
Yes.
And it's a big step for these youngsters. Their wages are good, but they've got no guarantee. Bad injury, loss of form, they could get dropped, and all that goes out the window. Then they wonder, well, what am I going to do then? So they see you first of all, and a lot of the boys say, oh, I can't come to see him there because my wife's not available. I'm prepared now to bring them to you without the wife, as they can take the message back to the wife. And then once they say to you, we want to see you, you know that you're halfway across that bridge.
I would say, if you tell one of these players go and tackle the guy head on, they'll do it without hesitation. But if you tell them to come and see me on their own, they wouldn't, right?
No. A lot of them say to me, will you be in there with me?
And what's the reason there?
They're intimidated by you. They feel that if you've given them time, that they're obliged. And I tell them that you don't have to be obliged.
Yeah.
If you say to Don at the end of the conversation, thank you, Don, I'll get back to you, or thank you, Don, it's not for me, or thank you, Don, I can't afford that. I said, but Don will know whether you can afford it or not. He wouldn't sell you into something where you're going to get yourself into trouble, because that's no good for him. It's no good for any of us.
So far, what I love about it is that every player is different when they come into the office for consultation, because first I don't know how much money they got, I don't know what income they're on, I don't know about their family support. But so far, out of every player we meet, almost we have 100% success rate. If they got the money, they will buy an investment property at the time. If they don't, in fact, we saw one last year, and at the time it didn't suit him. Now this year, only a few days ago, he came back in. He bought 3 properties because the advice was given him a year ago. He was not ready. Now he comes back, and he came with his wife, and it was just 100% approval. And this time, the wife actually pushed the husband to make the move.
Yes, because she didn't come the first time.
No.
He went back and gave her the message. She must have thought about it. And so even if the boys are a bit unsure, a lot of the girls are very clever, or they have people around them. Now, that is a bad thing, because they sometimes have bad people around them giving them the wrong advice.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's got to come out of trust. If they don't trust me, I can't bring them to you.
Yes, exactly. And your role prior to us, you were the county's sponsorship.
First of all, I was the coaching director of counties.
Yes.
For about 12 years. Then I came back as the business development manager, similar as I'm working with you. But it was the other way around. I was trying to raise money, get sponsors, make sure we got crowds for the games, that we improve on the facilities at counties. So it was a complete round job, you know. It was.
Well, I recall you said you bought in like $1.2 million sponsorship for counties in a year, and you basically saved the club in the early years.
Yeah, they when I went there in 1989, 98, they were going to go down the river. The rugby union was going to shut us down. Us, Northland, Tasman, and Manawatu, they was going to close us down and put us in Heartland rugby. Well, it would have been the death knell for counties.
And you got a lounge named after you now.
They got the lounge named after me, which is a great honour, you know, to be called the Phil Kingsley Jones Lounge. But I was lucky as well that we heard that Tana Iwanga was available in the UK. He was coaching with my son's best friend, Philippe Saint-Andre. Okay. And Philippe said, Tana wants to come home. Tell your father, he told Kingsley. So Kingsley told me, I told the union and the board.
Yeah.
And they said, we can't afford him. I said, we can't afford not to have him. Because I said, it shows that we mean business, that we're bringing in the best.
Yes.
You know?
And your son Kingsley, he's a coach of Canada right now?
Yeah, he's Phil Kingsley Jones as well, but he doesn't use Phil because he wants to be his own man. He just calls himself Kingsley Jones, yeah.
And so he's a head coach in Canada. They're playing in the Rugby World Cup right now?
His team is, yes. Okay. He's the coach, yeah.
And some of the players that we mentor and brought Palmer through us also played up there right now.
Yeah. Well, we got Nipa Lalala,
yes,
as you know, and we're very, very pleased with Nipa. He's a young prop forward. As you know, when you met him, very shy and quiet.
Yeah, about 18 months ago we met him.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe that he was a prop forward for the All Blacks, this feared All Black front row, because he was such a gentleman.
Yes.
You know, it proves that when you put that jersey on, like Superman, you're a different jersey.
I can, you know, I don't, since I deal with all these rugby players, I need to understand what their positions are, because I'm taking an interest in rugby now. And, you know, when he said he's a prop, I said, what's their role? You know, what do they do? You know, so what if you're a prop? I don't know what the role of the prop is, do I? But I saw him on YouTube that he squat 240 kilos. And then when I saw him did the scrum the other day, I can understand why he's such a valuable player to that.
Yes, he is. And he's only young. He's going to get a lot better. Now, when he came, I didn't think we would have much luck with Nipa, right? Because he's new to me. He always known of me. He always tells me that Polynesians look up to me, and you know, and he believes his brother. He had a bit to do with Casey, his brother who's in France.
Yeah.
And he advised him, he said, if Phil has got something for you, go and have a look. So that's how he came to us, and was very nervous because Laurie, his wife, as you know as well,
yes,
Samoan girl.
And they had a baby recently.
And they just had a baby, Cassius.
Cassius, that's right.
What a lovely name.
Yeah.
And you know that he's bought some properties with us. And
what's his feedback now on property investment, what we've done for him when we first met him until now?
He loves it. And the property he's bought in the Great South Road at
Manukau.
Yeah, Manukau, the flats. His mother-in-law, it's just ideal for the family. She can come straight from the plane.
I remember part of our wealth ninja is firstly, like, for us to identify talents, because it's like when you're a wealth ninja, you got to be able to see talent. When I saw you about 2 years ago, and I heard that you told me, you said, I bought a 1.2 million sponsorship, and I just thought, oh my God, if this man can bring a $1.2 million sponsorship, just imagine all the database, all the people that he knows. And I just thought, I'm not going to let you go, because your whole life is about building all of these databases, and all of a sudden it's going to go to waste, because either you choose to retire or you choose to do nothing. Where I identify your talent, and since I identify your talent, your connections, we have changed so many sportsmen's life, haven't we?
Yes, and not only sportsmen, but other friends of mine from other industries and other people that wanted to invest. We got two special girls, but we won't mention names, that we could talk about. There in itself is a story.
Well, they were amazing. They bought 26 properties in a year, total $18 million property portfolio, and they said that we changed their life.
Well, they told me when I said to them, because Vicky's like a daughter to me, you know. I love it. Her and Charlotte, I love them. And
you just said you wouldn't mention a name, you just did.
she's in show business.
We know where she lives.
She's in show business, so she don't mind. And I talked to her, I said, do me a favour, you know, I've got to take people to see Don. You two guys come and see him. Oh, we just bought property and we're not really looking, but for you, we'll come and meet Don. Well, you had him in your spell. I got to give you that. We just went for lunch, and they only come out of the goodness of their heart to me. And now you and those girls are probably best mates.
Can you bring me some of these Victoria's Secret models, and I put them under my spell at the same time?
They might want you a bloody money instead of you wanting theirs. That's the trouble with them.
How is your experience now that you've been with us for 2 years? I guess, like, you know, we almost like brothers. We can read people's language, their values. Either they're good, bad, or can we trust this person or trust that person. Sometimes we walk out of a meeting and you will ask me, what do you think of that guy? And out of politeness, I say, he's all right, but you just said, nah, he's a waste of time. So you can make that judgment equally as I am. So we work really well together, don't we?
Yes, we do. And it took a long time for you to trust those people, because you've had a lot of people that have let you down.
Yes.
It would be so easy for you to say, nah, I'm not bothering. But you haven't, and I'll give you all the credit in the world for that. You have got time, because a lot of this business you do is out of your time and out of the goodness of your heart. And you have taught my boys a lot of things, and they really come to respect you. Every one of those boys, if they ring me, give my love to Don.
Well, we want to, our Life After Sport program is about creating players to be worth 10 million to 20 million life after sport. But within a year, some of these players already worth 4 to 6 million. It doesn't take 10 or 20 years. And I got to be honest, when I see them play on TV now, and when I see them run out of the tunnel, I look at the game differently now, because I said, hey, that's a player, and I can see their confidence in them. They happier. It doesn't matter if they don't get a contract for another 60,000, because they already make 160,000 in their investment. So they just, and my only advice to them is play at your best and injury free. That's two things that we advise.
Yeah, never make them play with an injury. That's the last thing you want. The thing is as well, once they've had the taste of what they can do with the money, they want to work hard and be better at their job to make sure they stay on that track.
Yeah. They've
all got children or having children, and they see that it's their future that they're building. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And you've taught them that. You've taught them that.
It's quite I guess sitting where I am now, and I'm keep on hearing all these people that coming through with the program, and they keep on mentioning, you've changed my life, you've taught them that, you taught them this. It's just like, shit, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm just changing so many people's situation, and I'm just sitting here and I'm overwhelmed to receive such a word that coming back from the opposite side, because to me, that's what I do on a daily basis, and I don't think nothing about it, but all of a sudden somebody that from playing a rugby game, South Auckland boy. In fact, Auckland and Pula, we went to Aotearoa College together. You know, we went to the same school, and be able to change him, change his family. It's just amazing. I don't know how to describe that, to be honest.
He was paying $850 a week rent. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah, in the Ellerslie. I recall, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any property. So now, the funny thing with Augie is that I called you Don to him.
Yeah.
And he said, why do you call him Don? Is it because he's like the godfather of the real estate? I said, yes, he's Don. So he used to call you the Don. When he used to come and see you, hello, the Don.
he's the most amazing guy. I noticed some of these players, all of them are really so humble. Where is it the rugby that taught them how to respect people, or that they bringing up, or what is it that makes every one of them come in so polite, so humble? What is it about the rugby play that has that value?
Well, I think when they get as far as they do in rugby, obviously comes from home. Most of these boys have got good support at home.
Yeah.
Perhaps they don't get the right advice because they're not experienced. Their parents are not experienced at this sort of thing. And the money that the boys bring in, their father could only dream about. But the All Blacks have a saying that it takes a good person to make a good All Black.
Yeah.
So if you're not up to it, as good a rugby player as you can be, you wonder, and a lot of people out there wonder why these boys have faded away. You get good players, where's he gone? Because he didn't match the criteria of being an All Black. So all these boys that I bring to you, they've learned, respect. It's all about respect. Jonah was the same, you know. Jonah wasn't a robustus type of guy. He was a genuine, friendly guy. But he felt uncomfortable around people. I made him comfortable. I give him the confidence to know, do you know who you are? That was my saying to him. Do you know who you are?
Now, my mistake then was when I saw him, he's a big guy. And what do you say about his nostril again? His nostril.
Oh, it was a joke that I first used when he was in school, and I was up on the stage with Inga Tuigamala and Eric Rush. We was presenting prizes to the school, sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Right.
And on behalf of the All Blacks, and he was behind the post shouting, "Never mind about the jokes, give us the Coke. Never mind the joke, give us the Coke. Where's the Coke?" So I said, "Oh, is that a shadow?" And of course, so they all laughed, and he didn't like people laughing at him.
Right.
He had to be the comedian. So I said, come forward. And my Inga said, "Go, look at the size of him." He came forward. I said, "Thank you very much. You can have four cans for being so cheeky." I said, "Good God. Do you know I thought you was wearing sunglasses as your nostrils?" Well, that was a joke between us all the time.
Right.
And he used to tell people that he was down the waterfront in Auckland. Me and him was on a tandem bike, and he got arrested for peddling dope.
Well, and that's what the mistake that I made was when I saw him, he was so intimidating because he's such a big guy. But I guess that was, if I didn't think that, and I think it's a humble guy now, knowing all these rugby play that come and see me, that if you say hello to them, they will say hello back. They will talk to you. You want a photograph, they will do that. You want the autograph, they do that. But as a public member, well, especially me anyway, I did approach them because of that reason. But if I did, at that time, in the beginning when he just signed up for the All Black and I meet you then, firstly, I just wonder what would go through your mind if we had the next 15 years or so of firstly to be able to provide the advice for you, for him, but not only that, for all the other players. Where would that world be, do you think?
Oh, it would be amazing, you know. The only problem was in those days was a lot of these boys was first-timers. They were the first professionals. And it was very hard to get them to trust people. Like most All Blacks had an agent and a press officer. Jonah wouldn't let anybody near us, just me and him.
Right.
And any time somebody wanted to see him, they wanted something off him.
Yeah.
You know, even his school friends would ring him to borrow money off him. It was bloody hard. So what we did was, to make him secure, was he signed a contract that a cheque is only valid if I sign it with him.
Right. Yep.
So it's no good going to Jonah's house and getting a cheque off him if I haven't signed it.
I can see that, because I can see how the loyalty and the trust can create between you and him, but also a lot of the rugby player now, when they come through, even for me, it's been a bit of a short time with them, only 6 months to a year, they give me now that total trust. They don't even move. They even ringing up the bank to say, can I change my principal interest to interest only? They'll say, can you do that? And I said, yes, you can. I said, how? I said, pick the phone up, talk to the manager. It was simple as that, but they don't do it. They just wouldn't do it.
No, and they haven't got enough confidence. But in those days, as I say, the early days, especially for Jonah, there was nobody had the manner that he had, not only in New Zealand, but around the world. In the UK, he was a superstar, Don. We couldn't walk down the street. He went on a TV programme called A Question of Sport, which is run every Christmas Day, just before or after, I can't remember, the Queen's speech, right? And they got Evander Holyfield, Maurice Green, the sprinter, the Manchester United players, David Beckham, and they'd be on a panel and a sports quiz, and it was hugely popular. 3 times Jonah was on there.
Right.
And once I said to them, could you give my mate who's an All Black a chance on your show? Why would I do that, Phil? The producer said. I said, well, he's a great All Black. He said, we've got great players in Britain.
You told me yesterday, or a few times, you're saying that he had 2 James Bond roles that turned down?
He was offered 2 parts in the James Bond movies, yeah.
Wow.
We had to turn it down because I knew when we went along,
yeah,
there was a risk that he would be too busy with his rugby. And it was, because they film in Istanbul and Turkey. All those helicopter shots they was doing in those days and all that, out in the outback of Turkey. And I said yes, he'd do it. And Lee Tamahiri was one of the producers at one time, yeah. And he was in there with Robbie Coltrane and Robbie Carlyle, who played in Train Spotters, the nasty little guy. And they were just in awe of him. I used to take him to the, I didn't take him. He took me to the BBC Sportsman of the Year Awards, 3 years running. And one year they honoured Muhammad Ali. And of course, like Deepa, he must idolise Muhammad Ali to name his boy Cassius. Yes. And Jonah idolised Ali. And after all the sports celebrities walked in, they asked us to form a line down the side of the red carpet. Out come Ali out of this car with his wife on his arm, and he's staggering a bit and walking and trying to smile to the crowd. Walked past everybody and acknowledged people. Seen Jonah, he went up to Jonah.
Wow.
Put his hand on his shoulder.
So he was bigger outside of New Zealand than in New Zealand himself.
Well, he was more loved, if you understand. Bit more jealousy in New Zealand.
You know, that's the funny thing, that what you said, more love, because for what I do, when I go and spoke in India, in front of 30 countries, in front of 1,200 people, I felt the love for me beyond imagination, because people were waiting for 30 minutes to talk to me, taking photos with me. And it's true, you know, we got an issue here in this country where what we try to do today, for example, somebody will criticize us because just tall poppy syndrome for that reason.
Yeah, my grandmother had a lovely saying. My grandmother was a wise woman, and she used to say, it's better for people to be jealous of you than for them to feel sorry for you.
Well, you know, like Gary V said, I don't give F what people think, as long as I'm doing it and nobody else is doing it, so be it. But only last week you went to Melbourne. You done a public speaking engagement there?
In Melbourne, yeah, at the a beautiful place called the Australia Club, which was built 150 years ago by the British people who settled in Melbourne, and they built this private club, exactly like those private clubs you see in
like the Northern Club here, maybe.
That would have been a copy.
Better.
Bigger and better. Well, they have more population, so but that's built on that style.
And this is the reason why you have the business development manager title was when you went there, your mate Ray Evans. I didn't know why you go there, but you go because you go, and it's the more public speaking you do, the better it is for our business. Well, Ray Evans has to be a big-time developer in Melbourne, and he has now spoken to me, sent me 3-4 different developments, and asked me to come over in the next few weeks to visit him. So our business is now international, you know, because of you.
Yes, and that's only the start. There's more to come. So, you know, I know a lot of people, and you know, I got to give you credit for persuading me to do it, because I wasn't sure whether I'd let you down, or I wasn't sure exactly what you wanted. But when I started off, I could see what you wanted, and I could see I was also doing these boys a favour. I wouldn't bring anybody that didn't want to come. I wouldn't force anybody that didn't want to come. But when I came in to see you and see what you did, I also feel good about it, because again, it's like the old days with my boy Jonah. I'm helping them and advising them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I want. That's all I want out of it, Don. I'm very proud of my name, and all I want is credit for what I do. I don't want a gold medal.
For Phil Kingsley Jones, the godfather of sportsmen, I call you the grandmaster of a career advisor, the rugby player, for you to firstly just tell me that, you know, like you keep on saying that, you know, like you can't say that's my boss, and you know, this is the best boss I ever worked for. Why do you say that?
Because you are. You are. First of all, we are a good partnership.
Yeah.
Because we're much alike. My wife says it's an Asian gentleman and a Welsh bloody man, a fat Welshman, and you two are like brothers.
Yeah.
You disagree on something, but then you'll agree to disagree. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have the same idea. We want to help people. We want to make sure everything is all right. You look after me like a son. You know, because I'm not as fit as I used to be, but you don't command or demand anything I can do. And it's a pleasure to come into that work, to see you and Marla and Steve and the guys in that work. Penny, I love him. I love him, all of them. And it's funny, I'm working with Indians and Asians, and I was never racist, never been racist in my life. But the more I know them, the more I appreciate them, the more I value them. So coming to work for you has been a godsend at my time in life.
Well, you know, I would never look at myself as a boss of anyone, or even the word that you say coming to work for me. It's
I'll take a month off it.
Alienated. Well, you already have month off every bloody month anyway, aren't you? You hardly turn up to work except today.
Gets me on a Saturday, mate.
Well, you know, I'm grateful that you give me such an endorsement, and you've been around the world, you've been everywhere. You would have picked people who you want to work with.
Oh, yes.
You know, you don't just simply go and work with somebody that you don't want to, because you don't need to. But to have you on board with us, you have changed our business totally, meaning like we are going to a new dimension of client that we never met before. Life after sport program will never exist without you, and I couldn't ask for any more than to thank you for giving me all the endorsement, and also to grow my business. And you are basically, if I rank you right now, you would have been the best business development manager out of any business development in the country, because most business development managers get paid for no results. You get paid for being in 1,000 times the result what you get paid for. And that is the power of who you are, the power of the connection, but more importantly, the power of the trust that people trust you to even get the meeting with me when you request them to come in, all the way from even Ashburton, flew up one day, go to South Auckland, office in Babatoi, see Don Ham, Phil Kingsley Jones. Now that's the power of command, respect, trust that you earned through your career.
Yeah, well, thank you, Don. And as I say, it is a pleasure to be involved with you and your company and everybody that works there. I'm really enjoying the opportunities, and I'm enjoying the challenge.
And final 3 questions. What do you miss the most about Jonah?
Oh, I think it was, I loved him like a son. I loved him like a son. We used to have arguments. We were like father and son more than.
Yes.
And though his father in that movie came across as being a violent guy, his father was a good father. It was the only way they knew how to bring up their children. His mother, Eppie, is one of the most wonderful woman you ever known.
I saw the TV program. Do you think there's another Jonah out there?
No, I don't want to find another Jonah. I won't find another Jonah. No, Nipa's our Jonah.
Right.
Nipa's going to be our next star.
And you still got that all black jersey that he promised you?
Yeah, yeah.
Where'd you put it?
Safe.
Well, that was an amazing relationship, and in some ways, you know, I'm not as powerful as Jonah in physical sense. I'm not as famous, but I am that Jonah in replacement of him.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Thank you for coming on the show, Phil.
Pleasure, Don.
Looking forward to many more years to come.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheers.